The link off. You need to monitor the chat. Bye. I see how on the link off. Good evening. I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening on the Francis of the Lpr Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners right across the globe. Wherever you are, we say thank you for joining us here this evening. And of course, as usual, today is Wednesday. Wednesday is All Things Considered, right here on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Lpr Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Good to have you here. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And thank you for being here. This is how we're going to get the program to roll out here to very shortly. The analyst is going to be here. And of course, we're going to be having a wide range of conversations, news making headlines in Liberia and other parts of the world. And of course, we're going to be part, of course, now we're going to be placed out here to speak your mind on some of the things that are happening across the globe. Always good to have you here, and we can assure you, with us being at control tonight, your civil liberties will be restored. The liberals and his allies are doing everything possible on this network to silence you, to speak their language, to make you to say things that they want to hear. That's not what this network is about. We know their intention. We know what they are trying to do, and we will not allow, we will not sit here. So he has managed to have a massive recruitment of people of his liberals idea on this network with the hope that they will overshadow us, they will overpower our voice. That's not going to happen. So welcome to the show. This is All Things Considered, right here on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Lpr Public Radio. Okay, there you have it. We say good evening, good evening. So welcome. I'm Francis of the Lpr Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you for joining us here this evening. And it's good to be here. So what is something here displaying? Okay. Now these people, they have upgraded this system here, and sometimes it just shows different thing. I'm not sure why this here is displaying the comments, but let's see here that if that's part of the feature they have added. But supposing it, we want it to be on the other side here. So let me just on stage here. We don't want that to show. Okay, that's you have it. Well, this is the first branch of government. Apparently, there's some sort of showdown is ongoing after what appears to be the speaker to the development. We know how it came to an end, how long it stayed. Now, there is another one. This time, it's in the upper house of government. That is the Senate. War Edwin Melvin Snow survived the onslaught, the court, the supporters of the ruling establishment to having to recall it from the ECOWAS Parliament. These many modes of news making headlines going to be the point of conversation here this evening. And of course, as usual, your voice, your opinions, your view will be counted. The Liberal is not in charge this event, unfortunately. I don't know how the Clarence Davis and his ally, they're going to do it. But we don't leave no one behind. We will pick up their cause. But what we're going to do differently from that of the Liberal and his ally, the Terry Collins, the Bishop, the Reverend turned politicians, who is a political Reverend. Now, the Liberal has carried on a massive recruit on this network, very massive. The Tier 1 Gongo to drop our sister Goya is now also with the Liberal. You know, this is quite interesting. He has gone to Delaware, recruited Moses Sainway. Now, the Pittsburgh doctor, also a disappointed LPP, is also siding with the Liberal. Now, this is what they are doing on this network. That when you try to speak about your country, you try to talk about your country, they tell you to speak the language that is most suitable to them. That's another way of Muslims and silencing citizens from speaking about their country. They feel the country is for them. They are in charge. So they want to do anything possible to do. And this is why if you watch what is going on now, both even the government, the opposition, they are building their own media empire. And they want to take control. They are using state broadcasting corporations now as their outlets, which is most likely weaponizing the state broadcasting corporation. Well, you should serve all regardless of your political views and differences. But the Liberal and his group on this network, they support these ideas. And that was clearly demonstrated last night. He was very uncomfortable to the extent that he proposed to cut the program off because he found himself in a hot spot. But we stood our ground, and that's what we will continue to do. So he got here, guys, the Clarence Davis and the other rest, the Fatu and all of those people. But last night, Clarence disassociated himself from his divisive politics on being unable to call out wrong when it is wrong. So then he sent me a message today that Clarence is no longer his guy. So I'm going to see how that's going to play out. For which he rejected Clarence's call yesterday. Can you imagine? He rejected his call and he has to turn to me in order for Clarence to speak his mind. That's how far this Liberal, the Sacramento Liberal near Nancy Pelosi, who retired Speaker, he has drawn himself and decided to do whatever he thinks that he can do. Where his guy, his co-host, Jerry Bacon, gone? I know where he is. Who knows? The Liberal who is on his way. Let them go. We here. We wish them Lord. We want our folks too to be in the picture. We know what it means to be in the presidential picture, all of that. Well, folks, good evening. Welcome. We want to get the program going. Let's take a quick commercial commitment. Play some commercial here. So some of the programs right here on this network. And I will be right back. To the analysts, the link is out there. Welcome to the show. I'll be right back.
Hello, listeners. This is Mazola, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful, inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things He has done for us and continue to do. Don't miss this opportunity. Join Mazola Gizi on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the program Dancing for Jesus. Please be there because I will be here to rock it up for you. Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services and your friends in business.
That's what we do. Excellence in business. We also provide coverage, be whatever type functions and a memorable event in here in the USA and outside of USA, in Liberia, in Cote d'Ivoire. We are there, and so just in case you have a function that you want to get out there for family members to see that is outside of your range, let us know, and we can certainly do that. Those are some of the things that we do right here on LPR. And so that way, you don't just give us anything free. We want to provide some sort of service for you. So if you haven't, it can be a convention, it can be a reunion, it can be a graduation ceremony, it can be a baby shower. We believe in also, we would believe also having the community to participate in things that is happening, not just government. There are people doing extraordinary things here in this community, and so it's important that we also give attention to our people. You have your business, whatever it is. Let us know. We can advertise that, and we can work on something. At least let's provide you a service, and you can do that. Let's see here. Let's welcome some of our folks in the house here. Mr. William Conroy is marching in. Aliu is here. Emmanuel Tria is here. And DJ Welcome Power is watching from San Diego, California. Goins, Archie Zito. Archie said he was so embarrassed of the liberal last night and the bishop and / Reverend Terry they were unable. They got really strangled with it to the extent that the Liberal wanted to call the program off. But let me just bring in senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mr. Terry Collins is here. Let me just bring in Mr. Collins is in the house. Mr. Collins, good evening. So welcome. Folks, let's just do this here. We're still in the process of asking for assistance for those of you who are not given. Just in case you are considering doing that, please do, because media is very costly to maintain these things here. So the fund drive is still ongoing. We still continue to do that because we believe We want to keep the network more functional. You see what is happening, and everyone now it's quite interesting to see what is happening. So the number is there 682-433-8802. This number is both available cash app and Zelle. And again, if you even want to make a donation in car in something that is profitable or not profitable, something, it can be a material, it can be an iPad, it can be a how you call it, or it can be power bank and all of that. So you can also do that. So whatever you think you can make an impact on LPR, let us know. It's not easy. We don't want to pivot. But when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, then well, we gotta dance to the rhythm because that's how the society looks like. You either gotta be with the opposition, you either gotta be with the government in order to stand on your own. Are we there? No, I don't think you want us to go there because they are hauling me, they are pulling me, and I'm almost on the verge of going because these liberal wing on this network with a Tabata, I'm sick and tired. Welcome, Dr. Mali, one of the most independent. They don't like Dr. Mali and myself on this network. And it is sad to see one who is a reverend will sit on this network and allow his guy. I don't know whether he's the co-host now, but it is quite interesting. But that's how the society is polarized. Mr. Lamin, good to have you here. Benedict, good to have you. Gibe, good to have you. Aliyu, thank you for being here. And Isaac D for here. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. There you go. Clarence has started again. Rescue 2, Rescue 1 calling. No, these guys, they will not get tired. They are more than sedition. You know, they are more than it looks like Clarence is on like a supplementary payroll in the States here with a laborer and his guy because I don't okay, let me just start the Clarence my man, but it looks like he's something like that. Dr. Mallet, good to have you. Good evening, Mr. Collins. Good to have you. Welcome. This is All Things Considered. A lot is unfolding. Capital Building, the first branch of government series, episode 2. You know, your episode 2 is on after you keep the speaker out.
Rescue. Clara.
Clara is
Clara know the code.
Yesterday, I thought he was converted. Now he's going back to look at the you're feeling talking again. Now he's using his intercom system and rescue 2 calling rescue 1. Let somebody. So yeah, so Dr. Mallet, this is All Things Considered, but this is quite interesting though. The episode, the series, it reminds me of the Dallas and all of these. They're funny show used to be Ivory Coast. Anytime coming, everybody going to see, watch it. We're finished with the speakership. So it's a gradual process. The lower house finished, now it's going to the upper house. It is quite interesting, but I'm going to allow you to have your own talking point. Gentlemen, good Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Good to have you, Terry. Good to have you, Dr. Malik. Welcome to the show. Let's start up. How is everything so far?
Well, not too bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come in.
The co-host got to have a first preference. So, Dr. Mali, flow.
Of course. The Messi, you might you're not even trying here today until you call your rescue to the rescue father. You take that you end up being like a United Nations observer here tonight.
So the two of you ganging up against me tonight?
I see you. I think the mayor God he here for peace. He started on a peaceful note, so we need to welcome him.
Don't mind that man. That man can hold the Bible one side and behind his bazooka there. So don't trust that. Okay, guys. Welcome to too much is ongoing.
So far so good. The evening being fine. And at least we managed to come this far. My greeting to the men of God. And Well, we just want to get a glory to the Lord these days. Things are getting too rapture up these days now around the world. So every time we wake up, we just got to say thank you, Lord. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Lord.
Except for
So,
Liberia, looking at since the war ended in Liberia, it seems to be Liberia has signed up for what I call persistent drama every day.
drama. Liberia is a country that loves drama, and and if you want to be in the fries, you better create some sort of dramatic scene. Then, of course, sooner or later, you either be senator or representative, or perhaps become president, and then things move on. So good. Okay, thank you. Let's go to Terry. Olivia, good to have you here. Mr. Nire, Dia, good to have you, Benedict. That's what. If somebody have a device on, so I'm getting the feedback. No, okay. Terry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, thank you, Mr. So, and to Dr. Male, welcome back. And all of that. Yeah, so actually, my attention have been drawn to the non-permanent member seat of the UN Secretary Council. And I don't know what are the criteria. I've been looking at it, but from what I see, it just have to do with the voting that's going to take place at the General Assembly. They say 2/3 majority members seated, and that's 193 states. So 2/3 of them. But again, if other states are not present, once those who are present for that moment during the voting period, once you can get 2/3 majority of the votes, you're going to win the seat, from what I'm reading here. And I don't think there is any. I listen to people talking about you have to be, the country have to do this, the country have to do that. I don't see anything about that. I think it's normally about lobbying for the seat. It doesn't matter what your country involved in and all of that. I don't think that is a criteria. I think you just have to be a member state.
Yeah, that's it. They don't have time. They don't too much focus on if it's some sort of basic human right violation. Perhaps then those sort of things going to keep it. Every country has their own political dilemma. The very country we're in here. So that's not. It's all about getting the numbers, lobbying, like you rightfully said, and get a vote. And I think the government is doing something. They have dispatched, Western Garfield. He's a diplomat. He's a very good communicator. The president dispatching, lobbying with other folks going to Burundi and other those places where they think they can get the vote. Because you have to be very, very strategic. We're going to come to that. Okay. So
and also, lastly, Mr. So the speaker ready put Tabata on. Our new speaker ready press Chakla.
Your speaker? 11 speaker?
But the man went westward and press Chakla button.
Okay, you will tell us. I mean, 11 pie all engaging bad things, so that's it. But okay, all right, folks, and of course to our audience, we will open a number here. We activate this number as soon as possible along the way. When we get into the middle of this conversation, for you to participate in tonight's program. But before we get to all of your talking points, Terry, I just want to mention the. One of our own, legendary Amos George. Amos George is one of those on this network, even though he hasn't been here but for a while now, and we all know the reason. We were right here on live here when he came out public. The part of that is the transparency, because when we sit here and talk about people, whether in the right tune or in the negative tune, we too have to come clean, and that's something difficult. So we all were like shocked when Amos here came and told us for which he has been off this live feed of the Liberia Public Radio. But yes, he's still a member here, and we are all in prayer with him. During the end of the week, we've all been wanting to go take a visit, but I've been telling us to hold on. But the end of the week, his daughter graduated from high school. That was something that he'd been wishing, and he was praying when he still while battling his health situation, which he didn't have here. And as God may have it, she graduated and was able to go in there to Atlanta, Georgia, not just only as a person, but also to represent the interests of the network. And that's the sort of family ship that we have here. We don't want to be selective. If in times of good time, bad time, we must be represented. And Amos George, our daughter here, Pauline graduated. It was a nice little quiet ceremony itself. And so, we just want to say, Pa George, our prayers and thoughts with you in everything that you do to recover. But interestingly, there is other side of Amos Joy that I didn't know all along. I'm telling you, there is another side of Amos George. Yes. And to be honest, his wife, very decent woman, first time meeting her, very open. Man, the eating I did down there, man, it was not easy by the time, he picked me up from the airport. She saw that little picture that I told in our group chat and all of that. And that was something I worried. I'm like, wow, this guy, he's not, well, how are you going to do that? But then when I tried getting something like a rental, it was just insane. One day, like 200, I forgot about this Memorial Day completely. I forgot about it. I'm like, okay. But I called him. He said, oh, no, I want to be there. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. And he came. And when I saw him, I was impressed. I was happy. I could really see life in him, and we hang around all day. But this is the other side of Amos Joyce that I saw at the party. He and his wife, he was lively and everything went well. Let's watch the other side of Amos George outside of radio program. We'll be right back.
With you I shall not love, and I shall love nothing. I will never let you go, Jesus, unless you bless me, Baba. Give me my own share, that is why I'm in your presence. You are carrying my love, you carry my love. You said you will be my lover.
So look, folks, it was such an emotional scene, and my guess, the essence of that music, without going into that, because he and I had a very lengthy all-night conversation. We hang out, pick me or drop me, and we had a conversation. Then most of you used to talk just weeks before that time. You hardly hear his voice when you're talking on the phone, and I think, I don't want to come out here to say, but I think God has just done something very huge in his life. Sometimes you just have to have that faith. when he made that proclamations what he was going through. And you could see Amos, I mean, a sense, we've been talking. But when I saw Amos George, I was like, hey, man, I almost asked for Terry Voice to deliver some kind of instant sermon to preach. But, with certain skills, when it's not in you, it's just not in you. But, I mean, you saw him dancing there. You saw him. It's a clear indication. Yeah,
and he looked healthy, CEO.
Exactly. I mean, and the woman said, look, we just put everything to God. And for every time you talk to Emma Joy, you're like, oh, before anything happened, I mean, just see my daughter graduate. Oh, Joy, that kind of thing will not happen. So I was kind of like, why would I ask this guy to come and get me? But lately the voice became stronger, and when we hang out all night, and you see him dancing there. The song, there's a much more deeper reason for that song that was played. You would know that. He didn't hide. He came out here what he was going through and all of that. And to see our own friends and our own papa, even though he forced me to, where is that? What?
I know.
Again. Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
La Musa? La Ome Musa? You want Erin Snow? Erin Snow, George, you want that, right? you the one calling for Erin Snow record? Now, what are you doing now? After you make sure, when he said,
That's no AR. They make a new correction, the own correction to your correction.
What the chief need again, man? Chief, man, he does it, right?
That's retired.
After you make it, yeah. Okay, Mr. Koya, good to have you here. Welcome.
How you doing,
man? To see our own Pat George dancing, looking active like that is we just say glory to God. And
I tell you,
wonderful family. I'm telling you, we were together. We talked all night until everybody we even know how we passed out because the story was huge. And what the saints say, hallelujah. But anyway, we say Pat George, we wish you well, and I'm quite sure. Everything, it's just a matter of time. I feel we're gonna have Pat George right back here because he's another medicine man. He's another medicine man for something. Who's that? Can you? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay, guys, that's good. Rescue one SC. The men that eat goes, so you going to bed. All right. Okay, so guys, good to have you. Welcome. All things considered, Sissy Goya, what the heck is going on in that country? Episode number 2 from the lower house to the upper house. It's crazy. I'm not sure what's going to be the outcome of this, but the voices are sounding very louder and louder every minute, every second. Where there is smoke, there is a fire. We don't know how long this fire is going to be visible, but most likely it's the situation. But I'm not going to be the one to insert your breaking your talking point. But tonight is all things considered. Welcome. The liberal is on the run. Jerry Bacon has abandoned the liberal. Interestingly, he's hanging with the Reverend now, Dr. Toto on the other side. But guys, good evening, welcome. Good evening, Sister Rita, welcome. Thank you so much. We had a fabulous honoring to Blas badge right here too as well. So let's hear you, Sister. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, how you doing? It's been a minute. Nice to be back. The Reverend Apostle Healer, the resident Pope, Majesty Terracotta Rescue 2. How you doing, bro?
So to talk to them, we give it to me, I will bust him.
So wait a minute. Is that here? Who is that? The owner gave them these titles, or they just created their own thing here? Because
Oh,
Clarence is
they think a wartime thing. When you call yourself general, everybody call you general. So the man you're taking who's their position?
because Samson Pro is the creator of all of this thing, and the revenue who's supposed to lead the way to be more spiritual, he accept the title.
They're everywhere the broadcast of churches now. What you expect?
We in trouble. We in trouble.
You're not picking out of what you're leaving go by a way, sir. That man is strategic. You know when I try to horn you into some argument, you won't hear nothing to do with it.
The way I see you with your carty already, I just gonna chill. I don't want to put it.
My crew are outside tonight, but not on a serious note. All things considered, though, it's been a minute. I've been gone for a while. We've been dealing with some stuff. You know, your orange mayor elected decided you're going to put orange salad today, so we all been trying to work our money magic to make sure we still get job before we guarantee job that we can come out on the platform and be talking. So we're back, we're solid, we're guaranteed another 1 year job. So now we can make some more noise that will be more available going forward.
If that the other side, there's pro bono thing what we're doing, something to them, giving people head the whole day, they're talking time. We gotta make sure if beyond and not straighten up, that's it. So I mean, good
all the school funding cuttings and all the thing that my district, last year we had to cut $100 million for our budget. This year we have to cut $75 million. So when you're cutting positions most of the time. So you want to make sure that you're available, you're present all time. People see you, so they can know that we will cut that position as somebody will cut in. But all things considered, what's on my mind is going back. You know, I remember we caused noise on this platform a lot, but I think that has died down because our news cycle is just like we have attention deficit. Whatever happened to the census data? We still operating on preliminary census data because we had the preliminary census. We had time. We went to the election with preliminary. People have crafted budget based on preliminary data because when you are creating national budget, you're using a census report. That helps you determine where you build new hospitals, where you build new clinics, where you put a new police station, where do we have a lot of growth, where do we have a lot of needs, how we put in money in those places. So people created a national budget on a preliminary census data.
Okay.
So that's what's on my mind is why don't we ever see anything to a logical conclusion in Liberia, to a logical finish? We're going to wait for another census time again. We'll come back and say, oh, the other preliminary, they wanted the preliminary to the other preliminary again. What is that? So for me, it's just there's one thing that's been bothering my mind lately. So I just want to put it out in the space.
Yeah, and I think that's important. We will try to scramble over that. And that's not only it, there are a lot of issues people start, we become folks try to manage crisis. We create crisis. We are not good at managing it. We start by the time we roll, something come, and people who are heading those things to also to make sure they get to the finishing line. That is not done, and I believe some sort of resources being provided as well to get that work done. So, what is the hold up? Who is following through? Who is not following through? Why are we just going to sleep with this? Are we waiting for another situation to develop before we kind of get back to baseline? That is a very good point here. Okay, so Terry, let's start with you here. I did hear you were talking about, what was your point?
Well, we're talking about the non-permanent seat,
correct.
UN Security Council.
Okay, take the lead
also,
here.
Yeah, go ahead.
You take the lead here. Why you think is so much important, and what are we hope to achieve on that? I know it's questions sound very insane because everybody want to get time there, everybody want to make a vote to value. But so far, it appears Liberia is the only one contesting from the region So most likely you never know, but you have to work wire. Why is so concerning to you?
Because it put us back on the international wire as a responsible country that is ready to lead through the democratic process as prescribed by the democratic nations of the world. You know, it's a legacy position, and it's telling we will have the ability to have communication, like what the lady said today, or Sarah Beslow Yanti. She was so she put chill bump on my skin. I said, what are these the kind of people who got in Liberia, and we can be looking for people and act like they say we don't have people who are informed? You know, she beat the interviewer to the core, and she just laid it out. So we need to be in those we need to be on that Security Council, because I believe it will give us access to more and more information. It will help to solidify our peace in the region and all of that. So I think it's a very significant thing, especially for Liberia coming out of war after 20 years. Being over there will restore our reputation and all the kind of stuff. So for me, I support it 100%.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think the president sort of took the bull by the horn to dispatch a special envoy, and not just using only the foreign minister, but going inside as someone who knows the system, someone who has been there, former foreign minister, former pro-tem. Basangar family, he's a very good communicator, very skillful in terms of negotiation, just sending him out there to meet other leaders who will be in the rooms when the vote comes into play, to add up to the voice of the foreign ministers and that of the president, dispatching some a special envoy. That is it's a very good strategy to make sure to work towards it and get that seat.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, and I know that from what I'm reading, actually there's a 10 seat stuff, and they have 4 different regions. It's divided into 4 different regions. I don't think Africa is the only continent, in that falls within that square peg to be part of that non-permanent seat. They got Asia, they got other places. So it go across the continent, and there are people who will be in our column. If we fall in our column, it will help us to propel us to the next level on the international scale. But unfortunately, I think our men say that the project, but I don't know
Oh my goodness. It's not where you want to go again. All right.
if
Sorry.
we get it. See, if we get it, see our men say that the project. If we don't get it, then it means that we did not qualify because JMB is not working properly. So my fear is what become of Liberia if we lose the seat.
Okay, then I think I will have Dr. Malik comes in there. He's the right person here. What becomes if Liberia, if other people say they start, it's a government. You can start a project. You don't have to complete it, depending the time you start it and whatever. Another group come and they continues with it. That's continuity of government. Government has to function. It's not about you as a person. The government is a very unique structure that every functions of the government has to be aware. Dr. Mali, what is at stake here in your mind when it comes to this seat here for Liberia? So what is a good version of it?
Well, as the men of God rightly said, government is a structural institution, and the arm of the foreign minister to ensure that we secure a seat at that level. I think it makes a lot of sense. But the question now is, what? Because you just talk about Besonga Finley. Besonga Finley was the foreign minister for George Weah, and you are at his best only by bringing further to him when they appeared at the United Nations, and that was the end of it. And Besaga Finlay were not up to the task. He had to vacate that job. Now we've come to this lady. She making some headways from what I see in the newspaper. But the question now is, I think Liberia just want to be part and parcel of the international community by securing a seat at the United Nations. But the question now is it only about securing a seat or using a seat to make our case? If the latter would be okay, that is using the seat to make a case, let's say one of the cases is this issue of lobbying for funds for development in your country and also getting to know other rank and file of member of the United Nations. But I don't even know how are we going to be lobbying for funds when we have not been able to even solve or help solve a significant portion of the rampant corruption taking place in Liberia. You see? So the essence of really getting this seat, I'm totally lost. I really don't know what do we want. And if for any reason, probably we want to be part of the international community, say, yes, we have representation at the United Nations. Probably that's what we're looking for, you see. But beneath there, back home, so many things still have not been resolved, and we have not seen some bold plan toward curving some of these things. See, every time the State Department come up with report, human rights report, Liberia is reflected in that report. Every time there's the Liberia being reflected in this report, even from George Weah Helen time, and even as at now, I don't know whether the report is up as at now since His Excellency President Boakai took over. So I've been really asking myself, what do we really want? It said we just want to be part and parcel of member of the international community. What do we really want? That's the question I've been asking myself, and I have not found the answer yet. So if for any reason it doesn't work, government is continuity. It might work in the next government, but I don't know what the essence of this seat, to be very frank with you. I don't know.
Okay, and let me push you a little further before I go to Cece, because you started off by saying it's a good thing, and then later on we saw the slope going down. What do we want? So just to be clear here, are you in favor of it as an individual, or you see it as a waste of time? What is your position? Because I see it as sort of kind of a little bit dicey.
Well, I think I see it as a waste of
time. You see, because of these human rights issues, every country, America,
No, I said we have had a lot of we get a lot of pertinent issues back home. We have not been able to resolve some of these things or even minimize some of these things. Now we are chasing a slot. All right. To me, it's really not necessary.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Sissy, let me bring you in this phrase. If you don't want to speak to it, that's fine. But we always have different views, opinion here, even when our colleagues speak on specific thing, and we need more explanation. We always go into it. But let me get your side first. What is your own historic point here? What is your own view, opinions of this here? Wasting time, push forward, we should make sure and get it. That will give a better voice, that will put all in the seat to be among people's good decision policy makers, and perhaps we can make Liberia to be what it ought to be.
I think this decision to seek a non-permanent seat on the Security Council is an excellent decision, and I think the Republic ought to put a lot more resources than what they even put into it, into obtaining their seats. Historical evidence is there that shows that when countries like Ghana and Sierra Leone were on the were in their seat, they used their rule to leverage long-term economic developments. Because let's get this straight, Liberia is already a part of the United Nations. We're just saying, do you want to be in the secret room where all the decisions are being made? So you're already part of the club. You either want to be people plan to, or you want to be in the area where they're making decisions. And Liberia is saying that we want to be at a level where we're making decisions. The last time we were at this level was when Lamco was Lamco, 1961.
No, yeah, 1961.
Right? We, as a founding member of the United Nations, the last time we were at a Security Council sitting was 1961. And so I do believe that countries around Africa recognize that. Hence the reason Liberia got the endorsement of the African Union for this seat. Okay, so I really don't see any sorry, I'm hearing myself. I don't see any negatives when it comes to this. This is our chance to re-emerge on the national stage. This is our chance to be at tables where decisions are being made at the level of the United Nations Security Council. So I think that every Liberian ought to see this as a moment of national pride, regardless of which party or candidate you support. Because I really believe that just being a full member of an organization that you were a founding member of, and you're still paying your dues anyway. So whether you're on a Security Council or not, you're still going to pay your dues. You're still going to come to United Nations. You're still going to come to General Assembly. We're just saying, and this government is saying, that we just want to be able to have the ears of many more people to have access to a lot more resources to bring back to our country.
Okay. So you are if we were to do our calculation, what, 60 some more years, over 60 years. Over 60 years, that's a very, very long period of time to a group that is also part. But Mali, what are your apprehensions, with respect to it? Let's just go much a little bit deeper here and have this sort of civil conversation here. What you think, I did hear you saying the pertinence or maybe things of a priority back home. What do you think back home that could be of a priority other than this, that perhaps you want a government to focus on, for example?
For example, we need this judicial reform. We need to curb corruption. So the two important things. I hear it myself. Is it from you or?
No.
Hello? Okay. I don't know where the sound is coming from.
Are you listening? Because I think you guys, they muted themselves. So, but I'm not getting no error.
I got all my machines all my gadgets are off.
I'm not getting no voice.
Are you good now? No feedback. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. You see, Liberia is a third world country. And we want to showcase, we want to impress on the world that everything is fine. And I don't want to truly believe that everything is fine. Everything is not fine. There are a whole lot of things that is still ongoing in Liberia. Like, for instance, the war crime code, which I believe is going to reduce the culture of impunity in Liberia. All right. So on the one hand, we are talking about development in Liberia. Like, for instance, I narrow it to the minimization of corruption, the issue of putting human rights issues under control, and the issue of extreme poverty. All right. So if I want to take these three things into consideration, how can this seat I try to secure at the United Nations help soften some of these things? All right. So the issue of going to the United Nations, I think it's just an issue of being part of the pie. We just want to be part of the pie. All right. Using other people maybe to beg for money. That's the bottom line. To really beg for money. Because we on the list of the beggars country. Other than that, what else are we going to achieve out of this thing? What else? Because when push comes to shove, I don't know what the relevance of Liberia on that seat. Because every time they take a decision, I don't know. I really don't see the relevance, to be very frank with you. And thank God I'm not in charge. Because whether we get it, I don't know how far we're going to go. We don't get it. I don't even know how far we're going to go. It said we want to rock shoulder with other members of Security Council, that indeed Liberia is in the Security Council. Is that what we want to showcase? The entire United Nations is a white man culture and a white man concept. I don't even know what the black man getting out of that. I don't even know what Africa is getting out of that stuff. Okay? The propaganda, I see it as a propaganda institution to perpetuate white man way of running the country, white man way of running the whole world. Why is Africa getting out of that stuff? Eh? As I said, the bottom line is to get there, to know one or two friends and start begging for money. That's it. What have we done in our country more than begging? What have we really done in our country more than begging? What have we really done in our country more than begging? What have we really done?
Okay.
It's a rock shoulder. It's a rock shoulder to know Mr. White Man from so and so country. How can you help us with some food? How can you help us with some money? How can you help us? That's all we want. That's the essence, nothing more than that.
Okay.
Being on our seat is not going to put any food and anybody table in Liberia.
This is a different
It's not
version.
it's not going to solve the impunity problem. It's not going to solve the corruption problem. It's not going to solve anything. We've been there 60 years. CEO, what has it done for us?
That's a good question. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's a different
it's about time we flip the thing around now. We've been there far too long. What has it done?
Okay. All right. So
can I make a quick point?
I'll come to you. So I'll come to you, Mr. Boyer. Okay, so I'm seeing a different versions of Dr. Mali here. That's the beauty of this network here. And we people speak their mind. As soon as when the Lpr is in charge, then he cut people off because they don't want us to say it. But we want everybody to have their talking point here. But let's put a last pin on the CC and then
I just want to say something. For me, it's not about the relevance of the UN, because I don't think that was the question you asked me, so I'm going to sidestep that part. But when we are talking about countries that have been elected to the 2-year terms on the Security Council, the non-permanent seat, and what they've managed to get. Remember the last time we were here, we were talking about how George Weah came and the Brown government was not a party to many of the inner dealings in Sierra Leone with a lot more money than what we did. It was because they had a seat on the Security Council. And so if you're looking at right now, we're looking at human rights records. Let me name the countries that are on the Security Council right now, elected for 2 years. Algeria does not have a better human rights record than Liberia. So you have Denmark, they're better. Greece, they're better. Guyana. Pakistan is on there. They don't have a better human rights record than Liberia. You got Panama on there. You got South Korea. You got Sierra Leone. You got Slovenia. And the last, listen to the last, Somalia. So if Somalia is on there, and we're talking about human rights record and the rule of law to keep Liberia up, but you got Somalia on there. These have been tables that folks have used rightfully to be able to get their fair share. back to their countries. We saw that in the case of Sierra Leone. We saw that in the case of Guyana. We saw that in the case of Panama and Sierra Leone, right? And we're seeing that even in Somalia. So there is a value as long as we continue to belong to this organization that we are a founding member of. We can argue the need or the lack thereof. But for the Security Council permanent representative seat, it brings a net gain to the people of Liberia.
Okay, Terry, speak. You want to say anything before we go to Sissy and that of Dr. Mali's talking point? Is there anything you want to say about that?
I think Dr. Mali is mistaken. And to be honest with you, I think we might win. So I think Seditians will not be happy with this one, but I think we might win because from what I'm reading,
this is a problem. What's Sedition got to do with this?
Mr. Sue, because I know the energy Dr. Mali coming with. He wants something. He's trying to get something from his base. And it will not work, Dr. Mali. Mr. Sue, Dr. Mali knows better than that.
When Terry used to be calling here, he was my favorite guy. But the liberal has present the water of Terry, and so Terry now his soundbite is just as the liberal soundbite. Go ahead.
But so this particular position is very significant. Let my senior brother say put it right.
Oh no, I mean I offer it, to be honest. I mean we can't just always be behind. Let people raise their hand to us when we sit at the front table as well.
Yeah, and what happened here is that the reason I say we're going to win is because I'm seeing that we are not opposed. There is no in our region now, because Sierra Leone is the guy in the seat, and nobody can go for two. You can be re-elected upon an election. So you have to wait for, and they said that the African nations are good at rotating. So as a result, there is no opposition going to oppose Liberia, but it does happen in the case. But from all things considered, it seems that we're not going to be opposed. But here are some of the great achievements. Take, for example, on the Security Council, and there's an eruption in Liberia. You can lobby and bring in troops. You can lobby on the Security Council on a global scale to bring in troops to create stability. So there is so much influence you can have within that short period of time. And we must take advantage of it. And I also want to agree with Dr. Mali. This also is a position that I believe that the United Nations is giving smaller countries, like countries that are struggling, to have opportunity to recuperate and to get engaged with other people to attract investment. So it's not just, yes, it is. It gives you the opportunity to go big, to help your country. In the sense you don't have anything. But can you say you can live above that? You can't, because that is your level now. That is why you should appreciate that position. Because as a stand, you don't get nobody to beg. You don't have the power to beg. To beg, you must have power, you must have influence, you must know somebody. Like right now, the way I know certain people in Liberia, when I go there, I know exactly where I'm going to beg. But you don't know nobody.
The rescue people? So where to go? We can call them too.
You have to know somebody to beg. You know nobody, how you will beg. So the people give you the opportunity to come somewhere that you will be able to beg. So we agree. But you have to be in the position to solicit opportunity for your country, Dr. Mali. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So let me just say good morning to my senior brother joining us right from the Stephen Tower Estate, Mr. Sotomint. Good morning. Okay, let's come to your points here as well. No, it was Terry point. Sissy, let's come to yes, sir. Let's come on here to want to work within the time frame here. 30 minutes to go, 32 more minutes to go. Yeah, so let's see here before we come to Dr. Mali.
You get good on fire. You get good on fire too. You want to go equal good?
That's the
but where you spoil, you pay for it. But what I want behind the scene. But I
Yes,
was talking about my maybe to my only thing. You say my thought. Don't filibuster me.
Oh, if you finish eating it, the other time say I finish eating it. I come in there, all go from my convention.
I
Actually,
can't filibuster. I can't filibuster my talking point to forgive me.
that's too there. You to keep it for me. Oh, we eating it.
To forgive me, man, the expiration date that the FDA so before they expire. You know that Food and Drug Administration in America, I gotta put there on to forgive. But I'm talking about the census data.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with the preliminary census data, and I am confused on how we formulated a budget. A budget are moral documents, and they fund our priorities. And if you're going to be funding something, you need to know how many people live in the country, where they live, right? We got to be able to know what's the age groupings, what is the gender makeup, what is the occupational makeup, the income level, and where have population ballooned and where have population lagged, so that government can be able to clearly plan on where do we put more schools, where do we need to take some teachers maybe and reallocate them other places where we're seeing a lag in population, where are we seeing very high infant mortality rate, and to be able to focus in those places where we're seeing the largest population of a particular region being the elderly, so that we focus elderly care in the budget to those regions. Where do we have the most youthful population, so that we are focusing activities and government programs that help our youthful population? We have none of those. We are dealing with a preliminary embargoed data because the census folks told us that many years ago, and we use that same information to go to elections. But it is troublesome that we have a national budget. Are we saying, are our people telling us that they use preliminary data, or are they using the UN data? Because the UN gives us data, and we have to have our own data and be able to look at what are the variances in there. So are we only relying on the UN provided data to come up with our budget, and which we know sometimes can be faulty? Or are we just saying, you know what, we're just doing Coco Missy, you take it, you win, you take it, you lose, we'll put one school, we take one school, we'll put another stuff. It's really baffling. So, and I know we all, when I say we, I mean a lot of us Liberians, talking heads, we talked about that census data a while ago. But it's that we all have forgotten about it, and we have allowed people to make critical decisions without critical tools that they need to make those decisions.
Okay, let the analysts take on this conversation yet. Dr. Malley, there are a couple of things that are sent out from Mr. Goyo's argument here. Two things: other people being served wrongly, and other people not being properly served, because we do not, and he's quite correct, because we do not have the census to determine, like, okay, the populations in this region, like in my village, in your town, in your city, from the last time up to the present has grown significantly. At this point in time, maybe they need a community college. The size of the population, maybe crime rate. Based on these various data, we need a police depot. We need a high school here now, not just elementary school. Nobody needs to walk from Zobele to go to whatever village and all of that. Why people are not finishing up job? Who can we? Somebody should be held responsible on this here. Government put in resources. There were people that started it. They didn't just do it. I believe they were given a task, and this task should be completed within a certain time frame. If that is not done, and this seems to be the everyday problem in the country, we like, your Coca-Cola, when it's still on in the fridge, you take your boo. By the time you finish, then we'll forget, we'll put it back there again, can't open it. No. It's a complete mismanagement, and that has to stop. Who needs to stop it?
Well, I don't know, those who are in charge are truly aware of the type of case we are making. I don't know whether the government knows that sometimes they can have unfinished businesses. I don't think the government is aware of that. I think the government, because this census took place under Joy, and there were so many things that were associated with this census. so many things. And you know, and I know our government, including past government, they have got this terrible reputation of inconclusive work. But if you ask the government now, especially the statistic department in Liberia, they will tell you that, well, we've did a fine job, it's concluded, the data are there, and if you want the data, you either tip me, I give it to you. This is the kind of country we're running. You see? So the government may have its own version about what we think is a problem. So I don't have all the facts, but one fact I have is that this census was inconclusive. You see? So the question now is, at some point, I think the census took off, and at some point, the census slowed down, and at what point the census was even completed, I just don't know. So if we are saying that, if we are assuming that the census is inconclusive, I really don't have all those facts. But it would be a good idea if we have a comprehensive census conducted, the data are there, and they tell us this is what we have found from these census. These are the number of people that are living in Liberia. These are the number of foreigners probably living there, or this is the other area that have school or other things. Probably someone, a government official will tell you, say, have you visited Liberia to see the statistics? Someone could ask that question. Someone could ask me that question. I'll tell them no. So, okay, you can't be saying now in the diaspora and you want to know everything. You have to kind of go to so place. We'll give you the information. So I'm not too sure whether we have our hands on all of these data and the conclusion of the census. I'm not sure whether we have a comprehensive information about these things. I don't have it. But I know there's a bad reputation somewhere where the government doesn't complete things on time and they leave a lot of things hanging. I know that for sure.
Okay. Let's seek divine intervention from the Reverend. Maybe the Lord has spoken to him. Terry, these gentlemen, do they have a point? Do they have a point?
Everybody have a point, is it so? And that's a very brilliant point. But the thing here is, from my view, every ministry is supposed to have some kind of data. Every ministry. The public work ministry is supposed to have data on how to partition the roles. The health sector, the health ministry is supposed to have data on malaria patient, infant mortality, and all these things. And then we have legis who do the population data in all of that. So they are data, but you see, one of the things too, I don't understand what kind of opposition we have. The opposition do not go after these things. Then we have civil societies. The civil society is supposed to be able to organize themselves because apparently the government have these data, but they're hiding it. The information ministry is supposed to have data on where in the country you don't have schools, that you need schools to be planted. But they're not going to show us these things. So we cannot continue to rely on United Nations index report coming from all of that. We need to have our own people doing their own data analysis in all these specific fees. And to do that is capital intensive. You need an opposition, or this is the reason why we keep voting for the wrong people, because we see that not sophisticated enough and we still vote for them. Somebody will just jump out tomorrow and say, oh, yeah, I know the person will win the election. Like what they did to Mr. Comey, dragging him all in the mud, all over the place. I know he will win the election, and you go, why? Because his people did not get sufficient data enough as regarding whether if he can even move above 1%. You see, so and the reason for that, I hope I don't get in trouble tonight.
The revenue of fire, we started with CDC.
I really hope I don't get in trouble tonight.
I will wait till you come, Mr. Beleteni, then we'll be all right. I will be the trifecta.
See what? But I just joking when I want. So please, But what I'm saying is that Jesus is right in the right place. But if we have this organization wherein they're coming from political parties, they will be able to dig up so many information that they can use against the ruling party, on all these data findings as to how many schools, how many people go into schools, what kind of town, how the people looking, because poverty is in Liberia on a high scale. But the only place they focus on is in Maroya. You get Spoon TV going around to all these various places and asking the people, oh yeah, how business looking? We play well. We government were better than the government. Then they come back and say, oh yeah, we are win 2029. How is that possible? You see, so everybody here is right. You have to have good information package to determine permanent result and permanent relief.
Okay, when people, when we're talking to people, listen to us, just saying that I'm just getting the information here regarding the censor. That is, this is quite interesting. I think I'm going to really take time to go through that and maybe perhaps share in a group with a group too.
Mr. So there is a data, there is a census report that was signed by Samuel Twe in June of 2023. They had it on a final. When folks started pushing back and asking for some of us were looking at the irregularities involved in the statistical analysis and the gathering process, they came out and said, oh, it was not final, it was preliminary. And that was when, remember that guy who was with Legends that later on King, he used to be on Spoon, he was for a while, celebrity on Spoon, talking about the other stuff. So the one that was signed by Samuel Twe, it stayed out there, stay out final on it, even though they retracted it and said it was preliminary. I agree with what Terry is saying, that there are so many data out there, right? But by law, Terry, by law, it says every 10 years in our constitution, every 10 years we count the people in the country. Now what we do here in America, the city we told every 10 years we count people living in our country. So the education ministry can have their own data on how many schools are in a county and what's the the growth of enrollment and or maybe the decline in enrollment, all that thing. Those data all do not speak to the need of how do we build more schools. Do we have more young people or not? Education ministry data will be limited. I get your point, though. A lot of these places should have their own data, and I'm hoping they do. But I'm just saying the census gives a lot more. It gets granular into that, right? It breaks that down by gender, by age grouping, and we can start looking at those and start determining, oh, maybe we need more pre-K schools here. Maybe we need more maternity centers here. Maybe we need more elderly care centers here. That's the thing I'm talking to. But you are right. There are a lot of places. I know Ministry of Health has some data on infant mortality and all the other pieces. But there's one thing that the law requires, that the Constitution mandates, that every 2 years we count our people. That's the part I'm talking about. We need to count our people and know who are in the country.
Did I hear you saying 2023? Because this what I received here, it says up to 2022. That is much.
Yeah, that was the 2022 one. The man signed in 2023 of June 2023. He signed it. But it's the 2022 Liberian population housing census. It was conducted in 2022, but we signed it in 2023.
2023. And
is that the one you got? I can drop it in the chat room. That's the same one you got. It was saying Liberian census 2022 report.
Yes, and I see a lot of other organizations acknowledgement here.
Yeah, and they wrote final on the front page, but when these guys left Legends and King and started, saying all the irregularities, then it's when they said, oh no, we're temporary. It was preliminary, and we used that preliminary to go to elections. If you remember that we had elections based on the preliminary data, we're all arguing against that, all that stuff.
Wow. Okay. So you're making a new here. Let me go do the censor. I must say, everybody looking for a position. But before we go here, though,
that censor is capital intensive.
I've been checking here, something here. I'm not sure, perhaps, and if I'm not getting it right, and that has to do with the former First Lady, Nancy Doe that passed away. Liberia, no matter what, leaders, former leaders, people. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing a release. I don't know whether it's traditional. That's something is as a former lady, first lady, perused the website of the executive mansion. I'm not seeing anything. Not much is being said. Does it matter or it doesn't? Or what is really happening here? She's a former first lady. It can be anybody. I'm not sure whether I'm going over the air share with respect to that. I'm not saying anything. Reverend, you want to go first on this?
On the former first lady.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I'm not seeing anything from the Ministry of Information or maybe Foreign
Well,
Affairs.
I saw something from the executive mansion.
Executive Mansion.
Yeah, sending condolences
Okay.
to the former first lady.
I want to know on your Facebook page or something. Okay, because I probably it's on a weapon it has passed, but I didn't look. Okay, if that is, if I mean, the pastor can deceive us. Even though the pastor is more political,
No, I'm not. Mr.
oriented.
Son, if I were political, I was going to be talking for Unity Party straight through. I was going to be talking for them straight through. I'm not going to be dilly-dallying around and talking one day I thought for Joia, the next day I thought, no. I was going to bypass all the hard question and become political and throw everything in the trash.
Okay, so all right, I know we are all right.
But on the first lady issue though, Mr. So, on the part about the government messaging and press release, there's a part that made me so sick as a Liberian, and I'm going to speak to it because I'm not from Grand Judah, so people would answer because I'm from Grand Judah, so I'm saying it. But the disrespectful politicization of the death of this woman, it hurt me so bad. Whether you want it, you not want it, the history books carry that Nancy B. Doe was former First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. And this lady died, and instead of a national mourning, a unified national mourning and recognition of the falling of a giant tree, people are there arguing about, and the other person they ain't getting their money, but son working for the government, son ran for the government, and the government probably get more money. We didn't even allow for time for this lady's soul to rest in peace and for her children to even move, and for us as a nation to show that reverence back to her. There will be time for politics, but I think it came way too soon. I think this lady was owed much more in life and in death than what she got when she died. I just want to put it out here that was disrespectful to everybody who decided to discuss politics and not allow this lady to be laid to rest as the queen of Liberia that she was. We will get to politics, but I think people ran politics way too soon. And for me, that got me really sick to my stomach about the way we do politics.
Why do you think they went that way?
When you have people who don't have boundaries. Look, Mr. So, I'm from Lofa County, and in Lofa County, what we say is there are things that bring people together. No matter how much I hate you, you have a death in your family, I show up, and we squash whatever the beef was. You have a new birth in your family, I show up. I don't know where we're getting this from. That somebody can die, and before we bury them, we can start denigrating them and politicizing their life and their death. This was not a warlord. She was not. So nobody can tell me, oh, this woman took a gun and killed my person, therefore this is why I'm saying this. Right? We can argue the things about her husband and all the other people, their interaction, fine. But this is her.
Okay, but could it tie into that, transferring whatever happens on a Samuel
If
Doe?
that comes to, do you have boundaries, Mr. So? That comes to a boundary issue.
Right, exactly. We shall know crime is not transferable. But there have been the patterns consistently.
Mr. So let me say something. Even if you had a problem with Samuel Doe, which there's a lot to discuss about Samuel Doe actions, whatever it is, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's not what I'm discussing. But this lady managed to not be in the fries, in the Bronco fries, when she could have elevated herself and put herself in politics. She did. This was a very soft-spoken woman. You listen to her talk. She was not putting herself in fries, not wanting to be extra elevated. So why would you want to visit things upon her that was not her doing? So for me, I don't want to go deeper than that, because some guys that must say have some heated arguments on the phone, and I said some words that probably I should never say as the kind of person people know me to be. But there are certain things you just don't do to certain people. For me, it crosses the line. And for this lady to have died and we not even allow a national mourning period, a collective unified mourning period and reverence period for her, we just threw all the muck and all the politics. For me, it saddens me. People have the right to say I'm wrong. That's fine. I'm just saying what bothered me.
Mr. Collins.
Yeah, I think Sissy got a point based upon our tradition and based upon the level she went at. She was a former first lady. And I understand the politics, the whole country is polarized politically, but the conditions under which she died, given the fact the Civil War and all of what she went through with her children, the pressure as a female, I think the government should have had a better approach to this woman's death than to pay.
What is he coming for?
Huh?
What is he coming for?
Rescue one. Rescue one.
If you're drinking the juice, it's coming down. I'm drinking the ballot juice.
Yeah. So, actually, for people to pay the media to put all that demeaning cassette just for propaganda purposes, because it did it to Prince Johnson and it brought the government down, so the government to feel that they had to bring, the demeaning recording to pin on the former president, because that is what they're doing now. It's the politics. The whole country is polarized with political something. So this soul, Miss Peace be to her ashes. Like Sissy put it, a humble soul. You listen to her talking, you know that the woman never even hold gun, or even when she sees it, she will run away. This is the woman that the people they're tearing apart all on social media only to serve their political interests. That is not good. To me, I think also I want to join in with Sissy on this one and to support him, that I think we should have approached it differently. We should approach it from a diplomatic standpoint. We should have buried her with her honor. We should have placed honor on her death, since her husband is not alive, and given the fact the way her husband was treated upon his death, just how we treated Prince Johnson, we should have given her honor too, before we can now discuss the politics.
Okay. The most liberal of this network, I'm not sure, but because we are about to go, so I don't know whether he just came as a United Nations observer, whether Joseph Biker have designated him now to be the observer on this network. But let me bring in Dr. Mali, then I'll go to Liberal. Dr. Mali, this is the country we have. This is the country
Dr.
that
Mali, you tired talking here? You come and go back to here again? You been talking all night?
No, don't disturb our. I'm going to pack you right now. Ain't no way to pack people. I am going to do it right now. But Dr. Mali, on a serious note, no one is off the cuff in Liberia. You can be who because nobody ever had. Because I mean, people they just talk and just say whatever they say, and like who would take it? Take it. You can't deal with it. Get out of the kitchen. That seems to be the case right now. Where this thing went wrong? Do you know?
Well, I think it's in twofold. It's been 34 years now since the Doe hegemony was finally dismantled. And probably there's the other school of thought tend to transfer what Doe did to this lady, which of course is unfair. But this is my disappointment. I have been following the Nigerian unity from time to time. It is one of the consistent group in the diaspora that have been holding together. I have been following the track from history to history. My disappointment came in when I did not see the solidarity of Nigerians. I did not see that solidarity from Nigerians coming to bury one of their daughters from Nigeria, let alone the rest of the tribe. You see, Prince Johnson, despite the government came in to maybe getting some attention, Prince Johnson enjoyed the solidarity from his people that gave him the type of burial that he had at the time. You see, I did not see Grand Jide as a people, unified people, I see them to be in this very United States, to have come together, how they even come together in electing their national leadership, to even give it that impetus. I did not see it. My disappointment came from there in the first place. All
So
right?
quickly here, and you have the right to say, but before you end your point, quickly to that, and because it has not come in the public domain, so you have all right to say it. But what I can say, confirm to you that there is a major mass meeting, conversations currently taking place with prominent, eminent voices within the Grand Jury with respect to giving Nancy do some sort of decent burial, not equivalent to whatever it is, but whatever decent burial. So meaning what I'm saying, people are coming together, conversations is being held, people, phone calls, a lot of things working, and you're going to see that it's going to surface on some outlets. Yeah, I just want to.
Don't let anything be a grandchildren thing alone. She was first lady of all Liberia. Every show to all of us.
And that's what I told you.
Yeah,
That's what I mean, you probably there too much power. So why you want to? We're talking to yourself, to Nakan, your whole prospect change now. What kind of man?
Okay, then to also add to that, Her Excellency, the former President Salif, she had been another champion for women in our country since she left power, according to her. She had never gave recognition to the woman since she even started fighting over her property in that country. You see, she has been calling other former leaders from aliens country to come in our country there. She had never one day called on this woman and said, look, we are all women. After all, you are a first lady. I will have to join hand with you on your property in the first place to record that woman. I don't know. But she one of those who I'm really disappointed with in the first place.
Who?
When she went to Nima, Her Excellency President
The same part they've been talking like.
Okay. They see Her Excellency went to Nima County. They see woman she sacked as a superintendent, turn around again, wove in sheep clothing, try to lift her up to be senator in our place, even brought down that other woman down for. We can't be playing the kind of cards around. All right?
Dr. Mali,
I come in now. She brought a lot of white lady in our country there. Why she had never welcomed Nesebito? Why? Why? Anyway, I'll leave it right there. Because I know,
you need to
like
listen
what
to
see,
Nesedo.
I'm coming now. Like
Tells
what
us
see,
why.
like what
There's a
CEO
video.
said, if the grand jury are putting something together behind closed doors, that's good. Because when the grand jury, I know them for their infectious unity. It cut across. And grand jury alone can get a woman a honorable burial that what happened to the murderer in Nima County.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
That murderer was given a rising welcome. I doubted whether he would go to heaven.
Oh Lord.
Koga will appear in your sleep tonight. Don't.
You buy a good lofa country now. I recall now on the mirror. You how do you they will not allow you to go there. I think we'll train you, something will go to Lofa and then we'll bring you to Grand Giga. Anyway, you say you're Lofa man. The Liberal Progressive, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Rescue 2.
Are
Good
you
evening.
suffering from the fatigue of from last night? Is you still going through recovery process?
Not at all. From all indication, things are well with the president. He was well received, well respected. In fact, the group that I saw, he seemed to be the younger person among the group. So we're happy. We're happy to.
Young among the group.
From what I saw, the group that I saw walking the stage,
The
my
meeting
president.
with the Simone funeral home or what?
My goodness, that's it is so man. So that All Foods Unite Development Association of President Group.
Like I said, from what I saw, the head of state that was parading themselves, people holding their hand, they don't know what they were going to appointing. They said they didn't know what go their way. My president, nobody was holding my president hand. He was stepping. He was a younger man among them. So I'm happy to see that. Very happy to see that, Mr. So. And so all I can say, things are well with us. The president and his people will recalibrate, as Western Fernanda Patrick would say, regroup. And because this one here, with the snow saga, is something that they need to regroup, to be honest with you. And hopefully they will come back and come back strong. But Mr. So, I just want to show you here quickly, just something I want to show you very quickly. No, hold on. Okay, let's see if it. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, all right. There's a stacks here. You see my hand? This is a stacks of document. Unity Party, EULA, Teacher Colette Party, Action, Action Party, all the different. In fact, you will be amazed. I saw, unless because I believe you were young at that time, somebody was using your name, but I saw Alfonso Z. I saw Alfonso Z. So name on one of these, and he paid $150 a Unity Party member, Participant. Yeah, it's on the paper here. So I'm waiting to see whether you got a card from Unity. The people they listed here, it was unbelievable. People, when you read the list, these are people now that have distanced themselves from the Unity Party. Some people are now our own progressive, your leader, his name is on there as well. It seemed the Unity Party was so geared up that you have all the political party, they were all galvanizing themselves around the leadership of Unity Party to go against NPP President Taylor party. And
Sure.
at that time, NDPL used to have, when they go to voting precinct, voting center, NDPL will be lucky if they have six voters to vote for NDPL. From precinct to precinct to precinct, NDPL never got anything more than 10 voters. And I'm saying all of these things here, when your political party is in charge, build an institution. If you build a political party based on personality, this is what you have. When President Doe left the stage, there was those young people who thought the NDPL could muster whatever it is to go against Taylor. Any precinct at that time during the election, Taylor and PPL were all over the place. The only people that were giving Taylor a little problem with getting 36 votes here, 40, 50, 150 vote here, and think that when they get 150, Taylor people get almost 300. So I'm just saying these that, and one of the things that I'm going to be doing here most of the time is to remind people that these type of political parties, they need to be institutionalized, so that you don't put yourself as an individual, because when the individual goes down and you don't have any, and same thing right now, George Brown to say, you know what, I'm not running, CDC done completely. So you saw how much effort it took President Baka to try to bring Unity Party back together. And the smarter, in my opinion, the smarter thing they did, I believe, because if they were to go straight into the upcoming election, Unity Party only, they were going to have problems. But when they did that CPP stuff allowed the Unity Party to actually form themselves as a political party ready again and take it from Madam Salif. And I think that was the only thing that helped them out. So, Mr. So,
Okay. Yeah.
election is going to be coming very soon. This president is doing good. This president continues to do good. And this president will, if he wants to seek re-election, I will be at the forefront running his campaign as I did before. But if he say he's not seeking re-election, this big mouth is going somewhere else, not with Unity Party. Thank you.
Can I ask 2 questions? Libra, why you still printing things when you're in there doing educating in the trees? And then number 2, if we find something on there, would it lead to a new audit? Will you sanction a new audit?
Oh, you know exactly where I'm going. Why would a CEO of a media institution name going to be found on a political party? We're paying $150 back in 1997.
Mr. So, was that you?
19 what? Tell me what?
Oh, you want me to show you the painting here today? Where
I don't know what specifically he's looking at.
The other report we released. It will not be kept on a secret.
No.
You're coming with the other report again?
No, you don't move on.
No, I don't know what specifically you're looking at, but the issue of Unity Party, I mean, we don't want to go back. But Unity Party, like my own comrade family, he introduced me to Unity. I said that here before.
Here we go. He on that paper. Handwriting. They're not typing. Handwriting.
There's a lady right now in Philadelphia. That election where Unity Party and Taylor, there's certain places the people use acid water. I'm telling you, it was terrible. That election. So wait. Some say I'm going to kick you out right now. You're going too far. You're going too far.
I'm sure you're evident.
So I mean, we know that.
But anyway,
that man. If I open my own, no, this is what he tries to do, because yesterday I water him.
The liberal get you don't have to wear water and the intellectual calisthenics to do anything right now.
This particular list, Unity Party was able to collect back in 1997. They were able to collect that night. That night they were able to collect $2,705.
Go. They got it
So,
really.
okay, before we go here, it's, 1 minute, we're already after the time. Is Edwin Snow out? Because now the voices, extreme voices, talking heads, some of those who seems to be the strong voices of the president or the Unity Party, they are doing, and this is quite interesting. Unity Party now is being very making a massive preparations ahead of 2029, regardless whether President Boyka going to see re-election or not. I saw the combination, the structure of the class reloaded today is an alternative version now to combat Spoon so that they would do everything they can. And I can tell you, uh, Unity Party, they get people. There are some folks who are they will not be visible. That's the difference with that party with most of these other parties. There are some people, they are still at Daha, whether they are loyalists to Helen Johnson Sirleaf or now President Boyka, they're behind the curtain and they are doing everything. From what I see right now, they want to do everything to change the narrative. Now, would that be the end of Edwin Snow? So from what we see now with all of these calls, robocalls, tweets, Snow should be recalled because he represents the government and he is not in the interest of the government with all of this now. Would that be the end of Edwin Snow at the ECOWAS Parliament? Terry, quickly.
Well, I doubt it. Edwin Snow is rooted in that era, and Edwin Snow he got strong backing. The government, if I were them, I would not venture to write any letter to recall Edwin Snow on the basis of Edwin Snow's speech. Why? Because one of the key things that international people look at is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a human right, dignity is a human right value. In the statement Edwin Snow made, there is no demeaning extension in regards to creating instability in the country as the way the government purported it to be. So if I were them, I would not bother. Like the VP today, I read something from OKF. I don't know if it's true, but the VP has seen it on social media. Unity Party have not debunked that, and they have cooled down on the aggression towards Edwin Snow. Since the VP spoke, the VP said he coming from the place of the president. He gonna create a secure environment for Edwin Snow and his family because the VP understands the ramifications.
So quickly, does that mean that the government immaturely acted because they didn't get the in-depth? Apparently, they got a little clip, the little gist of that interview with Stanton, and it was converted into AR that as if Edwin Snow made his proclamations at ECOWAS for which that statement was issued. They jump ahead of the shadow.
What I'm thinking, I hope I may be wrong. I pray to be wrong. That this did not come from Eugene as a vendetta because of his proximity to the position he had. Because he been having a vendetta for Edwin Snow. And he is the one coming up now to be telling him that we need him to be recalled. Is that the government's position, Honorable Fagon? Is that the government position? Or is that your personal position? Which is fine. If it's that, if how they feel, if the government feel that they need to recall him, it's up to them. But I do not think that letter will succeed. And if the letter do not succeed, it is a political dividend for Edwin Snow. If that letter do not succeed, if it succeed, Edwin Snow is done at the United Nations. But if it do not succeed,
of course,
Edwin Snow gain political relevance.
Okay.
Because he can use the letter against them.
Cecily, let me make you jump in this one here. We just got through with this crazy thing that happens in the lower house. Now we have another rag is dragging into the upper house of government. Looking at all of that, whether it's wrong or right, will it be prudent at this time? This is not coming from surrogate. If there's some sort of surrogates where there are propagandists in there, but we are hearing some real conversation coming from people that work for the same government. Would that be a good strategy for this government if they were to push? And people, I mean, they are coming up front saying this. Like, well, I saw the tweet of Eugene. He said that on a podcast. He tweeted that again. And who knows, where are the other people that are pushing it? Would that be a good strategy by DOL to push this sort of thing?
No, man. I tire with the brand people and their foolish propaganda. First thing first, though. Okay, FM, really? That the people we taking to be credible sources, and just because somebody ain't respond to somebody trash, it ain't mean say it's true. Here's the thing. The last time I checked, CNN Yo said she was asking for security before she could rule in the ultra virus. Did she get that security when she ruled? Anybody have more? I hear they feel the fire brigade speaker, the one with all the wireless speaker. Remember the Alamo? He said people after he left here, my friend from Lofa Country and the liquor talk. Anything I come out of that. People say that and they want to put themselves in the public layer to get some relevance. Snow is already looking for ways to go run in a different country because government country, you not get re-elected in it. That is a fact. You're looking at trying to go remove Behugbe Jr. So in order to create that space, because in Liberia, when you are a political prisoner or you are seen as against the ruling establishment, that's how you get relevance. That's how you keep getting re-elected. It is the same thing that's carried out here. Snow state to ECOWAS, Snow state to ECOWAS, I really don't even see the relevance. For me, you ask me, however way they want to do it, the more call Samuel Koga. Koga will tell any way to do it.
But the information is also on Punch TV too. Punch TV is for Patrick Honda. So the information about the VP is also.
But they are all now lead hosts on class reloaded with.
Here's my thing about that class reloaded. I forgot about that thing. I have a serious concern when even people who are deputy directors at LBS are advertising the class reloaded. So has the class reloaded become the new ERBC? That was my only confusion. I seen people who work for the Ministry of Information advertising the class reloaded. Everybody, don't get me wrong. Everybody got a right to go somewhere and do their own thing. They don't got a right to get out of your class and everybody do their thing. But when you find people who are being paid that work at government institutions that are supposed to be the mouthpiece of government now advocating for a private platform, it almost looks like maybe we don't need to be funding ERBC. We can meet the same goal by not having ERBC. So let's just get rid of ERBC for the budget to that money and put it into some schools and some clinics.
No, that's quite correct. Okay. Now, these are, I believe, now we are giving to Dr. Mali more or less for which that we are wasting our time with listening. So, Dr. Mali, let's hear you.
Well, I just want you to remember that anything Koga touches survive.
That's a great speech. That's a great one.
When you are elected illegally,
he don't want the body. He don't want the body survive.
Well, the body didn't survive, but the body get him vote. You see, and the same thing apply to the newly elected speaker. Anything he touches, it also survives. Don't also forget, it was the same speaker who started to extend his authority to recall people from ECOWAS. And I think he's well seated now to boot Snow out of that place. He's well seated. All right. And let us also remember, when it comes to removing people in our house, when you start seeing the smoke coming up, don't take it for granted. You will get out. Kun will make sure it works because he's an expert in our area there. So it's just a matter of time. I think they're giving Snow a breathing space, but he will get out. Thank you.
He will get out. Wow.
Mr. So.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just pick this call up and then something told you will close it up for us. Now Richard Kuhn is calling. another washing. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. So this is Kato Jarabarayan
Okay.
calling to make a contribution to the show.
Okay. Are you attending the ECOWAS meeting?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thank you so much for allowing me to take part on this show while I'm calling. And I want to thank all of you for being on this show tonight. I call purposely because of the Erin Snow saga and thought I could, make my voice be heard on this issue.
Okay.
I listened to Collins stating that Erin Snow made a statement on a radio station, but it was not when he was representing the country. Being a stakeholder and according to international relations, he is directly representing the country. And in that position, any statement, whether be in your home or be in your district or your territory, wherever you are making statements on behalf or against the government, is then held highly against you or for you. That being said, he is representing a government on ECOWAS. What he should be portraying there is policy or negotiation that he should be making on behalf of the government. So if he is making the decision against the government, he need not to be represented on behalf of the government. He could excuse himself from that position and then resign and come and take his post as an individual or as a normal citizen. For representing a country and coming the very country you are representing, coming to make statements against, and not only against the government, but against the people of the country. This is where I have serious problems with what the statement he made. It's not only that I want for the government to fail, but I want for the people of Liberia to suffer. So who are you representing if that be the case? So for me, I have serious problem with that. You cannot be representing a country and then come up and say things against the government. In fact, he is a senator, a sitting senator. And he sees problems that he thinks that issues need to be addressed with what he has seen. He's sitting there. He can call whoever responsible for whatever the situation is and then address that issue. He did it before with Fagon. When Fagon was then, I think, Minister of Information. Why don't he take those procedures and then take those decisions or put it before the Senate so that he can address the issues that he thinks that affect the country or the people of Liberia? That statement is a very bad statement that he made, and I think he should apologize to the people of Liberia.
Okay.
He is a sitting senator and then representing the government of Liberia on the ECOWAS. So every statement he made is also considered as a policy statement.
Thank you very much. But there are a
That's
couple
what
of
I had to contribute towards what he said.
Thank you so much. All right, let me go to Lpr-Tv. There are so much of multiple interpretations with respect to what Snow made. There was a lot of videos that were created, that was manufactured using modern technologies to add up to things that he didn't say. So that all helps to blow up this thing. But what I did hear him saying for sure was he want the government to fail because he's the opposition, because they want him to be a one-term president. But the idea for Liberian people to suffer, blah, 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 that those were creations they added up. But let's bring in the Lpr-Tv, the self-proclaimed guru one of the Boasians on this network here. Liberal, are you in support? You want them to remove him?
Thank you very much. The first thing I hope will happen, those that are within the government of President Bakai, and I really believe in his agenda and I want to see him succeed, they should do everything possible to make sure that they distance him away from this snafu here. To be honest with you, now this is what I'm going to say on Edwin Snow. Edwin Snow right now is like a giant. To be honest with you, these people have made him look like a giant. When Edwin Snow right now, every one of us we know the reason why he's leaving over there because he doesn't have vote on that side, and that's why he wants to leave. But with this kinds of thing that is happening, people are now saying that Unity Party not only will they force power 2029 and maintain power 2029 and not concede 2029 because they're starting, they remove Frantikova illegally. Now they're going after Edwin Snow. Edwin Snow represents the country of the Republic of Liberia. Edwin Snow represents the parliamentarian part of the Republic of Liberia. Edwin Snow does not represent the executive branch of the Republic of Liberia. So Edwin Snow is not under any obligation to answer to President Bakai or anybody from the executive. So they need to understand that. And another thing they need to also understand that the ECOWAS group themselves, they have their own rules. You can't just get and snap your finger and say you want Edwin Snow out because you're the sitting government. They don't happen like that. Now, the thing now is President Bakai going to have to carefully thread this needle here, to be honest with you. Because right now, many Liberians are associating him with lawlessness. And that's not him. We know that's not him. When he was running his campaign, he was saying everything that he believed in to be lawful. Everything he did was lawful. And you can't say, Mr. So, the liberal speaking, I can't have you come in and try to cut my legs. Now, I said the president was doing things that were legal. I say that. So let me just continue with it. Now, those of us that supported President Bakai, not the Unity Party, because the thing that I've been reading here in the last 2 days or something, it makes me feel like Unity Party, they're just a bunch of liars. That's all I can say about that, Mr. So let me just close on this.
Who making them to lie?
Well, who can make people to lie? They lie, you lie yourself.
You
cannot tie this one on the president. It's unacceptable.
Why
you want to say who make them to lie? Who can make people to lie?
I
know exactly where you're going with this question here. And let me just nip it in a right away, so we'll have a clear understanding. This has nothing to do with my president. He is completely the voice of this kind of snafu, foolishness, I will call it, of these young people trying to throw in
the Ministry of Information release.
Yeah. Did they say the president signed? Was it an executive mansion release? Mr. So, you can't tie us down on this one. So let me just say this again: the president has done a wonderful job and continue to do a wonderful job. Now, one other last thing I want to say here tonight, I'm so happy to be honest with you. One of my engineering son just arrived in the United States today. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but he's here for engineering conference. And whoever sent him, I'm not going to go into detail, but I just want to congratulate them.
You know what?
Mr. So, let me speak my mind. Mr. So, you're not. No, Mr. So, you're not.
This is why you're part of the unit. No, listen, you're not going to run my show yet. I am here tonight. You're not leading here. If you're going to be speaking in parables and stuff like that, we'll have nothing to hide here. One of my sons. How many children you get? You told.
Don't worry about it. Let me make my point. So I'm happy that the young man is here. We'll do everything possible. He's going to be going by very shortly. But while he's here with us, you guys gonna see a lot of pictures. He's gonna, after his conference over there, I'm gonna see that he come and visit me here in California. I'm very happy. He's a very smart young man, to be honest with you. I just spoke with him before I got on air. He's still, as we speak, he's still going through the immigration process.
Minister Tama?
Tamada, my son, Tamada, my little brother.
I don't know your brother then. I mean,
No.
you always have people. You always let to hang people.
Yeah, whatever. So I just want to say thank everybody, Mr. So. It's a wonderful show. I've been listening to you when you first started until Rescue 2 came and joined you. Your tabata was beyond repair. Your tabata tonight was completely out of the roof. I mean, I can't even, if we were to measure your tabata, the first, until the rescue team came and straightened you up, your tabata was just ridiculous. And but like I said, the rescue team and the Minnesota politician, they are the counterweight, and they were whenever they come here.
Yeah, you are the man I'm for about I knew need for you. Minnesota, you see that man, yeah? When he sees different person, then he forget about your own friend. You see that need, but you had it.
He still tell me what for that you come back there. We gotta come visit me Minnesota so we can get past that one.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. So. We'll be here tomorrow.
Good talk. Please, there is no. I just Google here. Google told me no expiration for Tomogi. So that Tomogi.
No. The Food and Drug Administration came to my house. They came and Max to remove that Tomogi. They say it had expired. So
they checked your fridge. They checked.
I immediately as they were going, since they were texting me that the people were visiting his house.
They couldn't even allow me to text to go live. Yeah, I just texted quickly and left it. I wanted to go live.
Why all people always too engaging lives and things? With me, I mean, you too old for that. You're good now, man. Why you want to come back with me here? Okay, Dr. Mali, thank you so much.
It's nice being back. I'll try to make sure I'm as available as I can now going forward. But it's nice being back.
Let's watch and see our man Pat George. I don't know what I saw.
I saw you dancing.
Know there are so many reasons for Amos George to dance.
Yeah.
And I understand that song here, but I was very happy and I couldn't believe it. So Amos George, we hang out all night. It was a great time.
I'm glad to see him dancing. That's real good for all of us.
Yeah.
Good for our soul. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you for doing that, for going over there. We appreciate it. You do this all the time, and the board will reward you handsomely.
Reward you with order.
They will step on the second order again.
The order will table the order a little bit.
Is that the United Party? The United Party member that signed in?
Yeah, no. They will have to table that a little bit. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Koya. Thank you so much. Okay, Liberal, thank you so much, folks. That does it this evening. I'm Alfonso Z and so of the Liberal Public Radios and Lpr-Tv. We want to thank you for sharing your Wednesday evening, mornings, afternoon, depending on location. Tomorrow is what? Thursday. The Liberal Progressive. Come tomorrow. You're going to see the worst tabata on this network. He, Terry, and who else? He, Terry, and Clarence David, our outstation manager, will be here. They will be ridiculous again here tomorrow. Just come and see. What on this note, we want to say thank you so much for always being part of our conversations. Until then, have a pleasant